Hello everyone, my name is Sarafi and I'm happy to meet you all. And today, we're going to be playing Resonators. Now, Resonators is a deck that I really enjoy playing. Jack Atlas has a lot of great character, and he's probably one of the highlights of the 5Ds anime for me. The Synchro theme is obviously something I'm very familiar with, and I also really enjoy the Synchro climbing aspect. It's very interesting how everyone else has the sort of synchro monster into another synchro monster sort of thing, whereas Jack is multiple tuners, but his deck certainly does allow for that, and the skill has made it even easier than before. The skill is called Roaring Soul. It has 3 effects. The skill can only be used once per duel by sending one Fiend-type monster from your hand to the graveyard. Send one Resonator monster or one level 4 Dark Fiend monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then add one level 4 Fire Fiend monster to your hand. You cannot special summon during this duel except for Synchro monsters, Tuner monsters, and special summoning from the hand. You can also use each of these effects once per duel and max 1 effect per turn. If you control Red Dragon Archfiend, return one Fiend-type monster on your field and one in your hand to your deck. Then set one Red Rain to your field from your deck. During this turn, defense position Resonator monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. The consistency of this skill is very powerful. It allows you to take any Fiend in your hand and turn it into a Red Sprinter in the hand and a Crimson Resonator in the graveyard. That will get you Red Nova Dragon on the spot, which is fantastic. We had a Red Nova skill for a while, but it was kind of designed around us not having an extra monster zone. Now that Crimson Resonator has full power, we don't need as much help from the skill perspective in getting Red Nova Dragon out. So instead, getting Crimson Resonator in circulation is much more important, and that's what the skill does, which is amazing. The second effect is also insane. If you have RDA, you just get Red Rain. Red Rain is a card that I was never expecting to come to Duel Links, really, and it is absurdly powerful. This card completely undermines Tenyi, it completely undermines Altergeist, it completely undermines so many decks. Toons can't stop this. All these decks that have strong defensive tools that give a lot of other decks trouble, you just board wipe. AoE Banish, no targeting, and that will get rid of everything. That'll get rid of Chaos Max, it'll get rid of Leo Dancer, it'll get rid of everything. It is so terrifying watching this card just wreak havoc on the entire board. And you just get to search it, which is unbelievably insane. The last effect is okay. It's mostly for if you need to use your Scarlet effect before you synchro. Okay, for the main deck we have Wandering King Wildwin. This lets you, it can special summon itself from the hand if you control a tuner, and then after it's been sent to the graveyard, you can banish it to draw a Resonator. Both those effects are pretty good. Red Sprinter, this is our mainstay card. When this card is a normal or special summon while you control no other monsters, you can special summon one level 3 or lower Fiend-type tuner from your hand or graveyard. You can only use this effect once per turn. So you use the skill to draw this card, you get your Crimson Resonator back, and then you go into your Red Rising Dragon. It's a very easy combo. Crimson Resonator, this card is insane. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. If the only other monster you control is exactly one Dark Dragon type Synchro monster, you can special summon up to 2 Resonator monsters from your hand or deck except Crimson Resonator. You can only use each effect of Crimson Resonator once per turn. You can also special summon monsters from the extra deck except Dark Dragon Synchro monsters the turn you activate either of these cards' effects. Okay, so unlike Rockets, Resonators do lock you into Dark Dragons, so that's why we're not playing the Draco Berserker of the Tenyi. But we do have some really strong plays. Now, I only have one Crimson Resonator. If you have more Crimson Resonators, just take off the Force Resonators. So I'm playing Force Resonator because it's a Fiend, but if you have 3 Crimson Resonators, play 3 Crimson and 3 Red and just don't play any Force. And if you only have one, then this is a good option. If you don't have any Crimson Resonators, the deck doesn't work. Red Resonator. When this card is normal summon, you can special summon one level 4 or lower monster from your hand. When this card is special summon, you can target one face-up monster on the field, gain life points equal to its attack. You can only use this effect once per turn. So usually with your main combo, you will gain 2100 life points because you'll summon this out of the deck, target your Red Rising Dragon, and gain 2100 life points. Is that good? Yes. That's the skill that makes Tenny so difficult to deal with, plus 100. And it's not the only time you're going to be gaining life points in the duel, trust me. So Red Resonator is fantastic, and he's so cute too. Look at him. Force Resonator, you can send this face-up card you control to the graveyard. Target one face-up monster you control. If it attacks this turn, your opponent can activate cards or effects that target a monster until the end of the damage step. It's just a level 2 tuner, and if you have Crimson Resonator, this card is worthless. MST, I'm playing MST at 1 and 2 Book of Moons. You could play 3 Book of Moons and just cut the MST, but I'm finding it quite useful. 2 Book of Moons, 3 Forbidden Lance. This is obvious. We want to make sure that we are interrupted. As long as we can complete our synchro plays, we will be golden, so we need to make sure we don't miss out on our synchro plays. Resonator Call, this just makes sure that you have Fiends so that you can activate the skill. And Red Rain, oh my god. If you control a level 8 or higher synchro monster, banish all monsters on the field except the monsters with the highest level. Also, the remaining face-up monsters on the field are unaffected by other card effects except their own until the end of this turn. If a Dark Dragon Synchro monster is synchro summoned to your field while this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. Only once per turn on that effect. Wow, that's so good. So you make your Red Nova Dragon or your Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane, depending on the board state, and then you set your Red Rain, and you'll be able to banish all monsters that are lower than level 10, including all monsters that don't have a level, such as Xyz and Lynx, and you'll be able to banish, or level 12, if you have your Red Nova Dragon. And you're also going to make your monster unaffected by other card effects. Now, it is important to note that you cannot activate Red Rain unless there are at least 2 monsters on the field. So you can't just activate Red Rain to make your monster unaffected by card effects, for example. If your opponent starts the turn with Book of Mooning your monster, that's unfortunate. But as long as there's at least 1 other monster on the field and they play a card like, for example, Dark Hole, you just go ahead and use Red Rain. Yeah, it's fantastic. Alright, for the extra deck, we have Red Nova Dragon. This requires 2 tuners and Red Dragon Archfiend. Level 12, 3500 attack. This card gains 500 attack for each tuner monster in your graveyard, which will be at least 5,000. Cannot be destroyed by an opponent's card effects. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can target the attacking monster, banish this card, and if you do, negate the attack. During the next end phase, special summon the card, banished by this effect. So, yeah. Red Nova Dragon is one powerful boss monster. Make it every chance you can get. Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. This card's name becomes Red Dragon Archfiend while it is on the field or in the graveyard. That counts for the skill, by the way. Once per turn, you can destroy as many special summon effect monsters on the field as possible, with attack less than or equal to this card's attack, other than this card, then inflict 250 damage to your opponent for each monster destroyed. Again, if you need to use this effect and you have Resonators on the field, just activate the second part of the skill, and you won't be able to destroy your own Resonators. Your opponent will take damage for them, but you'll get to keep them so you can synchro summon. Red Rising Dragon. Oh, wow. Where do I begin? This is a level 6 that requires a Fiend-type tuner. When this card is synchro summoned, you can target 1 Resonator monster in your graveyard and special summon it. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck during the turn you activate this effect, except Dark Dragon Synchros. That is not once per turn. So you can just make Red Rising Dragon over and over again, and keep bringing back the same tuner monster. This is going to be your staple bread and butter. Absolutely use this card. Tyrant RDA, level 10, requires 2 tuners and 1 non-tuner. Must be synchro summoned, cannot be special summoned in other ways. During your main phase 1, you can destroy all other cards on the field. Also, for the rest of the turn, other monsters you control cannot attack. During either player's battle phase, when a spell or trap is negated, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. And if you do that, this card gains 500 attack points. This is part of the reason why we're playing so many quick play spells. If we have to make Tyrant RDA, for whatever reason, and we blow up the field, we're not going to have lethal. We only have 3,500 attack points. But if we attack and then we try and, in the battle phase, we Book of Moon our own Tyrant RDA, or we Forbidden Lance our own Tyrant RDA, we can then negate our own card and then give ourselves the extra 500 attack points needed to kill our opponent. So yeah. Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane. This requires 1 tuner plus 1 non-tuner Dark Dragon type synchro monster. You contribute 1 monster, then target 1 Red Dragon Archfiend monster in your graveyard, and special summon it. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can special summon 2 tuners with the same level, 1 from your deck and 1 from your graveyard, in defense position. The reason why we are playing Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane is because It is a level 10 that only requires a tuner and a non-tuner. If you are in a situation where you have Scarlight and 2 fiends on the field, and then you don't have a way to get another fiend on the field, and you have to activate the skill to get Red Rain, you're only going to end up with Scarlight plus 1 tuner monster. So that's when you make Bane, so that you have a level 10, the highest level possible, so that you can get the most value out of your Red Rain. So our end board on turn 1 will either be Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane or Red Nova Dragon with Red Rain pass. It's good. Lastly, we have Dark End Dragon. This one's a bit iffy. I haven't really found a use for it, and I kind of think that I'd be better off playing another copy of RDA, but I don't have one. Still, no, that's right. Now, regular Red Dragon Archfiend. This destroys defense position monsters. That's not the reason that we want Red Dragon Archfiend, is so that we can go into Red Nova Dragon after we've gone into Scarlights. You know, this lets us get Red Nova going first or going third, which is important because Red Nova requires specifically RDA. Yeah, okay, that's correct. Sorry for the change in the middle of the video, but there you go. Okay, let's take a look at the replay. Okay, so in this instance, we happen to open our 1 copy of Red Rain. That's good, but it actually doesn't matter. So I'm going to let the turn play out, and then I'm going to explain to you how I could have gotten Red Rain with this hand without drawing it. So first we're going to activate the skill. We're going to send the Force Resonator in our hand to the graveyard, send the Crimson Resonator in our deck to the graveyard, draw Red Sprinter. Then we normal summon Red Sprinter, and we activate its effect to bring back our Crimson Resonator. The reason why we use the skill even though we already had Red Sprinter in our hand is because we specifically want Crimson Resonator in the rotation. Okay, Red Rising Dragon effect, bring back the Crimson Resonator. Crimson Resonator activates its effect. Since the only other monster we control is a Dark Dragon Synchro monster, we can special summon 2 Resonators from our deck. We're going to activate Red Resonator's effect, gain 2100 life points, then synchro into our Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. Okay, now, at this point we have the tools to make Red Nova Dragon. However, if we did not have Red Rain, imagine this was any other card in our deck. If we did not have Red Rain, we could special summon Wandering King Wildwind with its own effect right here. Then we could activate the skill, return Wandering King Wildwind on the field, and Red Sprinter in the hand to the deck, set Red Rain, and we would still have Red Nova. That is why we're playing 3 Wandering King Wildwinds. Alright, make Red Nova, set the Red Rain pass. Our opponent's turn, they Dark Hole. We laugh because our monster can't be destroyed by card effects. They activate Unexpected Die, and then they special summon a Gunkan Suship Shari from the deck. Then they normal summon another Gunkan Suship Shari, and before they can exceed, I'm just going to go ahead and banish them. My turn, I go to battle. My opponent is going to activate Compulsory Evacuation Device. I will Forbidden Lance to make my monster unaffected by spells and traps. Attack directly, and that's game. There you go. So you have a consistent opening, very, very powerful synchro monster that allows you to dodge common removal, as well as a trap card that makes you just a terror for your opponent to deal with, and tons of spells that will allow you to stop your opponent from doing anything. My name is Serafi, and I was thrilled to have all of you with me.